those days had some really high-profile clients, like maybe you've heard of him, Donald Trump.
Once or twice.
You may have heard that name. But other real high-profile guys like Steve Wynn.
Wow.
And just lots of characters got to encounter over those years.
So were working with him when he was doing the Atlantic City casinos?
Yeah.
What did you work with him on specifically?
So I would say Donald was my client, our firm's client, but specifically mine, for close to 15 years, spanning, most of my time at Deutsche Bank, at Merrill Lynch, and then subsequently Deutsche Bank.
Okay.
Worked with him on financing of multiple of the casino properties, and then one big deal at the end of my time at Deutsche Bank was to clean up most of the mess that had been created because, a lot of, not necessarily the deals that we did, but a lot of his casino debt had defaulted, and it was kind of a big hot mess, and came up with a trade to sort of clean it all up, to repay debt that was otherwise defaulted and flush it out with a new holding company debt, which succeeded. Was a real big win for him back then.
What was it like working with him, being so closely over 15 years? Did you see him evolve? I mean, he's been in a plethora of different businesses, and now, as our president...
So, Matt, this is kind of funny. This happens in every conversation. Yeah. Now it's happening with you, is we're on a topic, and as soon as Trump's name comes up... all the other questions go away.
I wasn't trying to pigeonhole you there.
No, that's okay.
Interesting time period.
No, that's okay. He incredibly dynamic. Just as far as his superpower is just being famous. Just holding people's interest. People just want to follow him. They want to believe. They want to be close. And using that, I was quickly figured out. I'll tell you the secret sauce that we used. So when we were doing this, what I called cleanup trade, it was a big deal at a holding company level for, to sort of repair the damaged balance sheets out of various properties. And it was very difficult to sell it because a lot of the people you were going to raise capital are the people that probably owned the earlier bonds that weren't doing so well. And it was, he kept a positive attitude through the whole thing. And I don't want to take up too much time with this story, but this is a good story. Yeah. So we went around and created roadshows. And for a person in my seat, I'm sort of, remember I said I did different roles. This is like called a capital markets role. And for a capital markets person, it's kind of easy to manage your client when you're doing a roadshow. Why? Because when you go to, first of all, do you get good meetings? Do a lot of people show up to lunch and you get a meeting at Fidelity and Putnam and all the big managers? Because if you don't, they kind of know it's probably not doing that well. Right. But if you do, that's a good sign. Then it's on them to perform. So then you go to the meeting and you could pick up body language when they're asking questions that you can't really answer or they're showing skepticism. None of that stuff happened. He got every meeting at every big firm. And not only that, this is before he's a politician, he's just a famous guy. And it was even before The Apprentice.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, think about it. He was great at being famous for like 4 or 5 decades.
It's crazy.
Right? So famous that we'd go to Fidelity, we'd have to have the meeting in their auditorium. Usually you go to a conference room with the 2 analysts that cover your company and you have your meeting. They would go to the auditorium and I think there were 20 people there. And this happened at every meeting. So naturally he's thinking my deal's a home run.
No.
And then nobody would ever ask him a challenging question. And then he would give these answers and he would exaggerate and all this. So the meetings were fabulous love fests. But then the salesman would call for the reconnaissance. So, hey, Bob, that meeting went great with Trump. Are you going to be in the book? And they would look at him and they would say, no. Are you crazy?
Oh, no.
So as far as managing a client's expectations. Can you imagine that?
Tough one.
Great meetings, tons of meetings, all the right people.
No interest.
But no interest. Yeah. So I think this comes under the never give up. And if you think hard enough, you can come up with a creative solution of how to get this. How were we going to get this done? I was refusing to take no's. And this was the trade he needed to fix, the balance sheet. And it came up with the answer by asking ourselves this one question. What was his superpower? Well, we saw his superpower. It's, get. And so we had him come in and only meet with our salesman. Bonds aren't, what do they say? Bonds aren't bought, they're sold. So sometimes your best sale is the salesman, right? So we had him come in and he schmoozed the heck out of the salesman, made him feel like $1 million, and was inspired at the end to tell them, hey, fellas, I know this isn't going that well. It's kind of hard. If you get this deal done, I will take you to Mar-a-Lago on my plane as my guest for the weekend.
Wow.
So the salesman went into turbo drive.
Wow.
And I don't know how they did it with bubble gum and spit and glue. They somehow put this deal together. The deal got done. And I'll never forget it. Donald said, was very thankful. He knew that it was hard. And he said, that's great. He said, I said, Donald, don't forget what you promised. He said, oh, they won't remember that. I said, won't remember it. It's all they've spoken about for the last 3 weeks. And so we did it, and he loved it. He took us to Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, really?
And to this day, I'll reunite with any of these guys. I mean, this is a long time ago. Yeah. This is 25 years ago. I'd reunite with any of these people and say, highlight of my life.